Servus Freunde, my name is Jimmy Cage and this is the Huntsman Civil Soldier Winter's War.
Is that any good?
No.
Chris Hemsworth is back in his iconic role, the Huntsman. Who's not back? Kristen Stewart, because even though Snow White is mentioned in this movie and still seemed to be a somewhat important figure, she's just not in it. But she wasn't one of the very few strong points of the first movie anyway, and look at her replacements. You get no other than Jessica Chastain and Emily Blunt, who I think are two of the best actresses working today. Reprising her role as the evil queen Ravenna, even though only briefly in the movie, is Charlize Theron. Also back, Nick Frost, who played one of many dwarves in the last installment. So does all that add up to a good movie? Not really.
Oh, this is the worst.
I don't think it was terrible, but it was just very bland. It begins with the story, which is just not that engaging, and also from the start very dragged out. I mean, just think about this. The whole time span of the movie are almost 20 years. It begins as a prequel to Snow White and the Huntsman, and when you think things just get started, the narrator is still talking and we skip several years in which the predecessor took place. But back to the beginning. Even though it wasn't mentioned in the backstory of Ravenna in the first movie, she has a sister. Freya, played by Emily Blunt, who will turn into the Ice Queen after she finds out that her newborn daughter was murdered and love apparently doesn't exist. Henceforth, she forbids love in her own kingdom, turns everything into ice and trains huntsmen and women to wage her wars. Chris Hemsworth and Jessica Chastain's characters are among them and fall in love, what is of course forbidden. But let's forget about the story because it's simply not that interesting. Most of the movie is spent looking for the one mirror mirror on the wall, which did Snow White only harm because it still inhabits an evil force. In case you're wondering, yeah, now we're in the time after the last movie.
Discover the story that came before.
It's hard to pinpoint on one central aspect that ruins the experience because it's more the sum of so many bland things. The Huntsman is simply not that charismatic and I like Hemsworth as Thor, but who is the Huntsman? He fights with an axe. He's in love with his wife? Sometimes, but only very rarely, he makes a funny remark.
I play much.
The movie itself is not very entertaining. It has almost no humor, and when it does, it's the most basic stuff you can imagine. I think the only reason why Nick Frost is back is to have something light in it and a character that can accompany our lead guy. But man, is it sloppy. His motivation to go on that search for the mirror is just that the queen has ordered him to. There's another dwarf as well, and halfway into the movie there are two female dwarfs joining their fellowship, but never ever do you get the feeling of a cool, engaging team. The dwarves are just there. The whole movie is also very stiff and lifeless. It's fitting because its villain is an ice queen, but that doesn't make a very entertaining movie. From the story, characters to the action, music and locations, it's just so dull. For a fairy tale movie it feels very unmagical. There is no wonder to it. At least the first movie had these lush forest locations. This one has many scenes in the forest too, but they don't have the same atmosphere, and when they are starting to feel alive, it's only because they are rehashing some of the same locations, for example that Sanctuary plays from the last one. There's really nothing really creative and fresh in the Winter's War. The first one had at least some cool images with Charlize Theron and her dark magical powers. I wish I could say anything great about the movie, but I was just bored. Maybe you will have a better time with it, but I wouldn't recommend it. Alright, that's it. Thank you guys for watching. Please tell me in the comments below if you want to go see this movie, and if you did, what do you think about it? Hail to the king, baby.
You are not my